Hello and welcome to the Black Lodge for the Whiskytube Roundtable, November edition, the Christmas gifting challenge. Apologies for anybody that's been waiting. I've seen quite a lot using the chat and you're all doing fantastic. I'm just having some technical issues this evening. Welcome. Hope you're all doing well on this kind of frosty Tuesday night. I think quite a lot of you got hit with snow across the country. I'm down in London. We just got a tiny bit of sleet and a lot of rain. So I hope you are all keeping well. I know there's been some flooding in the country as well. So hope everybody's keeping safe and doing well. It's been a busy time with whiskey. We're right in the heart of the whiskey season. And what better way to kind of bring us into the festive period than a bit of Christmas cheer as we talk about gifting with whiskey. But this background could liven up a wee bit. So there we go. A bit of Christmas cheer. I think we'll need it. Let me just adjust myself a wee bit there. Boom. There we go. How's that? Now, joining us tonight, we've got we've got 3 guests, 2 for the price of 1 channel, and then another channel. And we're going to bring the first guest in right away because I know we're running a little bit late. So without further ado, we're going to have Jen join us. Welcome. Are you on mute? Have I got you muted? Let's see. Oh, you still on mute?
That better?
There we go. We got it there in the end. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. I'm sure some people will be saying long time no see on YouTube, but you guys are back.
We're back. Yes. Finally. We were trying to get back for ages. Well, you finally got some time now, so we're back again.
Fantastic. I know a lot of people are excited to see you back, and I know when I bumped into you guys at the Glasgow Whisky Festival and then in the pub, and there was a queue of people wanting to see how great it was to see you and when he's coming back. And I believe he's had like the video queued up, ready to go.
Yeah, it was ready to go the next morning. So yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm loving the jumper.
Feeling Christmassy. So yeah, for the occasion.
Cracker, absolutely cracker. I'm wearing the bootleg Campbelltown t-shirt that I believe I may have handed one of these when I was
between that and this to wear tonight, and I thought I'd go with the Christmas theme.
I thought I'd go for that in case anybody missed out on the Springbank Frenzy of the last week. You can get a lot of them if you just go to the link in the description and you can get a set. Anyway, on that note, we'll bring in, I don't know what to say, a partner in crime, but the other half of the channel. Rachel, how you doing?
Hello, I'm grand, thank you. Happy to be here.
Welcome to the Whiskytube Roundtable. This is your guys' first appearance, I believe. Great to have you on. I think this is the perfect topic, if I do say so myself, for you guys being ex-retailers. So I don't know if many people in the chat, if they've seen the latest update and stuff like that, if you want to maybe tell us about that.
Yeah, we did have the shop for, what was it? Coming up 6 years, I think now. We've had whiskey shop/shops. But yeah, we just handed over the shop to the boys because we didn't have enough time to do everything. So we've got more time to do other things now. But yeah, we're in the shop for 6 years.
It's a long time, especially during that COVID period where I feel like that time doesn't count, but does count.
It was a strange time, yeah.
Kind of stole away from us. But I did say that you do have plenty more time. I don't know if it's been both of you or one of you on your adventures around all the distilleries.
Both of us, yeah.
Have you making content? Have we got anything to look forward to for that, or?
Yeah, we do have some more plans on the way as well. So yeah.
Or the more recent post, Jen, that was you doing a whiskey tour, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was doing a whiskey tour as well with a wee group. So yeah, I was
nice.
just getting wee pictures in between times. So, but yeah, more of that sort of thing planned.
Well, that's exciting. I'm sure everybody in the chat is really happy to see. I've already seen a few people giving you some shout outs. Let's see if that will work. We've got Pete Head.
Hey.
If you bumped up.
Oh.
Amy.
It's been so nice. So many lovely comments on YouTube and our YouTube recent videos on our YouTube videos, which has been so lovely.
Everybody's happy to see you back. So really happy to have you on here. Thanks for joining. Even if I did proposition you after about 14 drams, and that's probably why you said yes. So I'm delighted to have you on here. And I'll bring in our final guest. It's Vin PF from No Nonsense Whiskey. Welcome, Vin.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. How you been keeping? You've been a busy man the last week.
I'm starting to feel the little tickles of burnout coming in, but it's been very, very, very busy. But hopefully, well, I say hopefully up to Christmas it'll start dying down, but it absolutely will not. But January hopefully be a bit better.
Yeah, I think everybody's plan. I know my plan is, in January I'll take it easy, and I've already got sights on Burns Night on like the 25th, and it's a Saturday. And I'm just like, so much for dry Jan.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that because I was just thinking about what I might do with the round table going into it. I might sack off December because I think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on anyway, and then might do like an end of January breaking dry January stream or something like that maybe. Just ad-libbing that, but yeah, it's been super busy. Sort of doing festivals and so many. Obviously the industry's ramped up as well, so many bottles to cover at the moment. It's unreal, but first world problems, right?
Yeah, first world problems. Like, try to put this kind of. I'm sure you guys, the topics that we're going to be covering tonight has been harder than I thought it would be. I thought, these are nice, easy topics that we'll cover from the gifting point of view, but really struggled.
Yeah, it's been a struggle because I think I said to you just off streams, like I've done something like this before where we do a challenge. I've been part of a challenge, and my mistake is that I always pick things that I would like. But if we're doing voting in the chat, you've got to play to the crowd. But I've not done that again this time. I'm still going to buy what I think because I don't care if I win or lose. Honest, I really don't care.
I think everyone's a winner when it comes to whiskey. I nearly went really abstract with a couple answers. See if you can guess which ones those are. But as it's festive, as it's Christmas time, firstly, have you got a dram? What have you got in the glass? We'll start with you, Jen.
So I always kind of think a lot of people say they want to go peaty in winter time, but I have peaty anytime. So I tend to go more rich and sherried towards Christmas. And so I've got Glen Scotia that I picked up at the distillery actually a while ago. I've made this last quite well. This is bottled in 2022. An 8-year-old first fill Oloroso Hogshead.
What's the proof on that? Is it?
It is 56.2.
Nice, something to chew on.
Yeah,
on a winter
definitely. It's like syrupy. Yeah.
Rachel, what have you got in the glass?
I had, so this was a gift to receive myself, not for Christmas but for a birthday, from Jen, which is a Glenallachie and North Star bottling. Glenallachie from the one and only icon, whiskey legend Billy Walker, of course. 11 years old. I'm trying to show you the side of the bottle, but I'm not really good at doing this. And Oloroso sherry and 56.5.
Nice. And Vin, what have you got going?
It's funny you should mention Billy. This isn't what I've got in my glass, but something I do like at Christmas is their Christmas bottlings. And they've, Billy gave me this recently, which is their old-fashioned Christmas whiskey secret Speyside. But like what Jen said, I'm a peat person all the way through, but I stick with it. So I've got the Glasgow cask strength peated. This is batch 2, and it's it's incredible stuff, man. It's incredible stuff. But I like it high strength, high peat. Beautiful. And PX obviously as well, so a bit of sherry in there.
Yeah, I tried that at the Glasgow Whisky Festival. It was great, and I've still got my £10 voucher, and it has been tempting me, and I'm like, I don't know.
Get it used, man.
Yeah, I know. I've got another couple of days. I'm trying to eke it out because then I won't have the guilt of I should be buying presents for other people than myself. I've went for something completely rogue.
Ooh.
From the same bottler that Rachel had, but I went for the
Oh, nice.
the Campbelltown soup, the chocolate liqueur, which when I tried it the first time I was like, that's lovely, that's really easy. It was at 11 o'clock in the Good Spirits Company on a Thursday morning, and I misread the label because on the back it says 50% alcohol including aged Campbelltown whiskey, natural chocolate flavour liqueur, blah blah blah. I read that as 50% liqueur, 50% whiskey as a blend, not realising that it's 50% proof. Mm-hmm. and it drinks like dark chocolate profiterole sauce. That's the only way I can describe it. Yeah, it just smells like sauce in a glass. So I thought I'll start with that. That's Christmas dessert, rather than go straight to the meaty stuff.
Good idea.
But
Have you got the coffee one for afterwards?
I don't have the coffee one. I was looking to see if I could get the coffee one. It seems to have sold out quite a lot of places because I want that for espresso martinis.
The coffee one's amazing. I liked it better.
I'm gonna have to dig that out. And price point, I think at the moment on Master and Malt, that one is £22.
It's really good. Yeah.
Other stores it's about £22, £23. I'm cheap because I have Master and Malt Prime, so I don't pay delivery. So I'm like, okay, that's my budget level. But you guys were saying peat, so obviously, Rachel, you've went kind of sherry right off the bat. Peaty at this time of year, but peat and sherry at this time of year, I think perfect combo. Do you go elsewhere? Do you go light? Because I was trying this the other night to kind of put this together, and I was like, can you go light and fruity?
Oh,
I mean, you more so, Rachel. You go kind of tropical fruits, don't you?
Well, that's what I was going to say. You can get like something like an extra charred bourbon cask or something like that. So you get some more kind of, maybe not that dark sherry flavours and smoky flavours, but get something that's sweeter. And I'm trying to find a way to not describe it as dark sweetness, but it's kind of like a dark sweetness, but it's not as dark as a sherry dark sweetness. A kind of medium colour. I'm probably not explaining that very well.
Vin, what about you? Do you say dark and peaty or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm sort of coming back round to sort of lighter ones. Like, obviously, shout out to the English Whisky Awards, but the Wireworks bourbon barrel. It's not light, but it's it's just ex-bourbon, which is an anomaly these days. But I'm definitely coming back round to that sort of basic characteristic rather than big sherry. I'm not really a big sherry person anyway, unless there's heavy peat involved as well. So, truth be told, I don't really like sherry as a standalone. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm pretty much open to kind of all whiskey apart from rye. But I'll just go with it, man. If it tastes good, it's fine.
I actually think rye is quite good at this time of year because it's kind of Christmassy spicy. So I do quite like that. But I get why you might not.
I'm really struggling with it. It's I've been trying for years and years and years to like rye. And there's a few that aren't bad, but generally speaking, high rye and high rye bourbons I really struggle with still.
It can get really dry, I find, on my palate if the rye content's too high. But then it makes me look really good when I have one and I go, oh, is that high rye content? Because my mouth is like the Sahara. And it looks as if I'm like really educated, but it's just a natural, visceral reaction in my mouth that's happening. If you had to say to someone, right, because we're talking about like some meaty drams here and some deep dives. You're in a bar, say you're in the Bon Accord in Glasgow. It's Christmas time. What would you pick for somebody that's kind of maybe not into? Maybe they're all about bourbon or all about the tropical stuff or something light and easy. What would be a gateway festive dram? What do you reckon? I know I'm asking you this cold off the bat with no prep, so I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to say I would actually go for, and it was something that I picked for people when we were there, the Torreveg sherry cask, which I thought was just a lovely. It was actually somebody in the bar that I've known for years and I've not seen, and he's like, "Oh, what would you recommend?" I don't like peat when it's like Lafroig, and I was like, "Okay, right, fair enough." And I picked him that, and he loved it. And I thought, right, there you go. There's a gateway. One
that I've mentioned a few times recently, actually, maybe that would work for this one, the Loch Lomond 14. So it's quite sweet and really like juicy fruity, but not like full-on sherried, like rich, spicy. It's just, yeah, like fruit juice almost. I think that might be quite a good alternative.
Finn?
I reckon I would go for the Kingsbarns Ducat as a nice kind of light one. You know, it replaced the Dream to Dram, and a lot of people were upset about that. But I actually think it might be a little bit better than the Dream to Dram. They've got a peated now as well, which is in their core, so that's a good ease into the light ex-bourbon peat, but not in a kind of overarching way. So yeah, but I like Kingsbarns because they've got that like tropical flavour as well. You know, young spirit, of course, but still robust.
Nice, good choice. Quite left field as well, Kingsbarn. I think there's so many there's so much whiskey out there at the moment now. It's easy to kind of just keep going back to the same bottlers. It's just habit. Rachel, what about yourself?
For a lighter Christmassy one, I'm thinking either Arran Quarter cask, so it's not mega light, but that kind of more kind of tropical flavour, or one of, I can't remember which one we like the best, the one version 1 or 2 of the Linder's wine cask.
I was going to say that. That was my other option, yeah.
So it's light and floral, but it's quite syrupy and kind of sweety like and Christmassy as well, in a way.
The first batch was best, yeah.
Those Linder's bottles are on sale quite a lot as well, because there's quite a few of them, so you can pick them up with minimum risk, let's say, as a dram. And I'm sure if whoever picks it up doesn't like it, you can pass it on to someone else that does. Now, we're going to get into the meat and bones of the evening, the challenge, the gifting challenge. And the whole reason the topic came up is because I'm sure if anybody watching this who's into whiskey, you'll have people at this time of year come to you and go, right, what's a good whiskey? What should I buy? And then normally the follow-up is, well, how much do you want to spend? And it's a really hard topic to get a hold of. And I thought, well, what better way of doing it than a wee challenge where each of us try and sell in a gift for under £40. Now, the gift doesn't need to be a bottle. It can be an experience. It can be something a little bit different. It could be glassware. It could be books. It could be anything like that. But if you get £40, what's the best way to spend it to gift in the whiskey world? So chat, let us know. Put it in there, what you think. What we're going to do is we're going to do individuals. We're going to start with Jen first. And she's going to pitch to you her gift, and then we'll go round. And then once everybody spoke, just put the name in the chat, and that's how we'll pick the winner. Right, Jen, you good to go?
Yes. So I had 2 options for this one, but if we've got all the way up to £40, you could probably get both of these for £40. So my first one was a cocktail recipe book, because I didn't really get into cocktails recently, and now I'm loving them and using different whiskies to make different flavours in the same cocktails, and absolutely loving it. I meant to bring the book through to show you, but I haven't got it. But the other option was another book, Whiskey Galore, because it's really funny and it's a little bit of history, but a little bit of culture, and a little bit of background into whiskey drinking in Scotland, I guess. So yeah, probably the 2 of those you could get for under 40 still. So I'll go with both of them. Can I do that?
You can do whatever you want. You get £40 budget. You can have it whatever you want. So
perfect. I think you probably get both of them.
Yeah,
Whiskey Galore and or a whiskey cocktail recipe book.
Whiskey cocktail recipe book, and you can find them through this means called Google. If you want to just put it in as we're chatting, because you guys at home watching, you can look it up and let us know what you think about that. Now, next up, we've got Rachel.
Okay, so this one I've got kind of specifics, but also a bit more general as well. So I've gone for an experience with this one. So you could go a tasting experience. So either a tasting at a whiskey shop, your most local retailer, or a virtual tasting provided by some retailers or some brands like the Grail that you could go. I could suggest that as a very good one to go for, or lots of other ones. Good Spirits, for example, do really good virtual tastings, and I thought to give the option you could go for a virtual or an in-person tasting depending on how sociable the person you're getting the gift is. What that gives you is a selection of lots of different drams to try, also an experience where you can meet other whiskey people that you can talk to or not. So if you want to be virtual and just keep your camera off, then you don't have to interact with people either. Sometimes that is the way. Can be enjoyed in all weathers, I've put, because living in Scotland, that's sometimes something that you have to factor in. And also suggesting maybe to go with a local retailer or a brand that you enjoy, then you're directly supporting them in some ways, which also feels good. So there are my reasons.
Very compelling, very knowledgeable as well. It's as if that kind of experience is something you know quite well.
Oh yes. Yes, yes. It's quite hard to get like general gifts for people because we're so used to in work. People ask, "What should I get someone?" You go, "What do they like? What flavors do they like?" And you kind of narrow it down more. So getting a general gift is much more difficult, I think.
Next up, we've Vin.
Okay, so I'm pretty much going bottles for most of mine, to be fair. So I'm kind of glad that you guys didn't do bottles, because the one thing could have happened with this is we could have picked doubles, right? But so I'm going to go with the Thompson Bros TB/BSW 6-year-old. So that's taking me right up to my £40 budget. On doing some googling today, seeing how much that was. But the thing I like about it is it's unashamedly a blend. So it's got single malts in there, it's got grains in there. People who watch my channel know I love a bit of grain. 6 years old, so they've got an age statement on there as well. 46%, very well presented. But it's probably arguably one of the best bottles of whiskey you can get up to that limit right now, which is, hasn't always been the case, but prices are going up, but they're sticking at their prices, and the quality is just year in, year out, just great on that bottle.
It's a really good pick because it was very close to being my pick. We have not organised this behind the scenes at all, so we don't know what anybody's picking. And I thought I was going to message today, and then I thought, no, let's a little bit of danger. Let's see how quick we need to think on our feet if somebody's picked something else. But then, yeah, great choice. Like, I think I'm on bottle. I say it. I didn't pick it because I feel like I sell it every time I'm on a stream or every time I make a video, because I just such a good bottle for the price, and especially sherry.
I'm a recent convert to it, to be honest, because as I said earlier with the sherry, I don't tend to vibe sherry, so I don't really buy it unless I've tried it, and then I tried it and I was like, okay, but this is fine, that we can buy this.
And it's if anybody needs pushing to get it, you tell them the story about where it's from originally, and then people think they're getting a super good bargain deal. Though I feel like Signatories stole a little bit of that thunder with these secret Speyside M's that they've released recently. Okay, my turn. We'll see how this goes. So, for my choice, I've went away from bottles as well. I've went away from books and experiences, so it's actually worked out really well. I'm going for the Glencairn coloured edition with the coloured glasses. It's blind tasting edition. And I checked online, they're currently doing 30% off on their website, on the Glencairn website. So it comes in at $38.47. So if you buy it before the end of November, you get it for under £40. I picked that because I think so often people pick up glasses and they look at the colour and they make a judgment, very much like the name of the distillery it might be from. And I just like the element of surprise. You can pour it in, you can kind of get tasting. And I think if you are new to whiskey or you're not new to whiskey, having those glasses allows you to set up a flight or get a friend or someone to set up a flight for you, and you have to go off the nose and the taste. And at that price for 6, it comes in at what? Just under £7 a glass. So I feel it's quite reasonable.
Good choices.
Nice spread. Well done, guys.
Very
Not
good.
scripted at all. So, chat, let us know in the chat. What's your pick? See what we've got. Then I don't know if your populist route might lead you to victory here, by the way. We've got quite a few for...
I think that might be the only one that I've gone popular on. But yeah, it's £40 is a real challenge. Like, literally, to do that today, I went on Master of Malt. There are other retailers available, and just put in my limit at £40 and just looked to see what was there, because I just genuinely didn't know off the top of my head what prices were at the moment, because it's just fluctuating all the time. But that's what really stuck out to me, because they've just kept it so consistent. Which, long may it continue.
Did you guys in the shop see that increase happening incrementally, or did it feel like it kind of shot up? Because I was the same as Vin looking. I thought under £40. I was going to do under 30, and I thought, no, we'll do under 40. You can get bottles, plenty there. And unless you're buying at a supermarket, it's quite difficult.
Yeah, I guess it probably, there was a point where we noticed it kind of increased quite a bit, and then it just sped up, and everything was going up and up. So yeah, it's hard to get. But the good thing is there's lots of blends now, that good quality blends that are coming in under that. So definitely a fan of them.
Do you think that's a reaction? The blends kind of people have looked at it and went, right, we can't get bottles out, we can't get single casks out at this price?
I wonder. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, I wonder. I thought it's probably also people learning what the contents of blends are and being less snobby about it than they had been previously as well. Just more open to trying something different.
Was there anything in particular, like, did you see regulars come in? Because we saw some brands hike the prices overnight, like go from 70 to 170 and stuff like that. Did you notice people shift away from even purchasing, or did you notice it was like, oh, well,
Yeah,
what else is there?
definitely. I would say people who would be buying the same bottle regularly kind of stopped at a certain point, and we were quite good at finding alternatives, letting them try things, see what they liked. And yeah, there's usually something else along the same lines that you can let them try and they'll enjoy. So
When you're doing tastings now and stuff, does that play a factor in your consideration, the price point of the bottles that you're letting people taste to then purchasing?
Yeah, like, well, I suppose
Yeah.
it has to when you're making up the tasting packs. You've got to like cost it to some extent more efficiently. However, we do have a lot more flexibility without a shop and stock to consider of selling and linking in kind of more strategically with that. So we can be a lot more flexible because we're not really selling primarily as a retailer. We're just selling the tasting packs now. So we can be a bit more like, do you want to try that one? Yes, I want to try that. Let's put it on the tasting, which is quite good.
Great. I'm looking through the chat, and it's very tight. I'm struggling to find who's done it, because I was like, yep.
I feel like no one's going to want my books now.
Someone's going to say the books. Someone will. Come on, chat. I'm seeing a lot for Thompson Brothers off the bat. Rachel, a lot of love for the experiences.
Great.
Tim has Grail whiskey t-shirts, which we only mentioned, but there you go.
Legend.
He votes for that. There's been a Jeff Whiskey, he votes for the tasting experience. Whiskey Whereabouts, he's saying Colour Glencairns. Codger saying Glen. Tim saying Glencairns. I'll let the chat, we'll come back to that one, because I think it's quite tight between maybe 3 different ones, and one maybe not so much. But there's another 3 rounds to come, guys. So everybody's a winner in this. And next up is best gift under £80. Now this one is, again, should be easy. And then you get, I don't know about you, I'm terrible with like choice anxiety when it's overwhelming, and people are like, especially at this one where like might be a birthday or something, and my family will be like, what whiskey do you want? And I'm at the point now where I get no whiskey from anybody, which is tragic. So we're going to move on. We're going to start with Rachel in this one. Take it away.
Okay, this one I was struggling to kind of. My thinking started that I would always like something limited over something you can always get, but then that's not always the best to suggest to people because you might not be able to buy that again. So I've kind of gone down 2 lines of thought here, but I'll go with my initial one. So something limited, cask strength, single cask if you can manage, but maybe a few casks if not, from your favourite or a trusted bottler that you enjoy. So that could be their most recent release. So for me, to give you one that's specific, Little Brown Dog, never had a bad bottle from them. Some of my favourite whiskies have been from this brand. So just had a look at what they've got available now, and happily for me, they've got a port pipe matured Tamnavillin 2010 for £75, which is something I would absolutely love. So that's what I would buy and hope the person liked a port matured whiskey.
Great choice. Very well done.
Thank you.
I can see a lot of other smiles as well, and people going, right, okay, this is going to be a tough one. We're going to go to Vin up next.
Okay, so this is where I'm going a bit off piece now because so those who know me know that I'm a big fan of indie bottlings now. The breadth of it you can get. Just like Rachel said, the struggle with that is that they often, when they're gone. But I'm going to go with it anyway because that boutique whiskey company have now got a core range of full-size bottles, and one of them is a 30-year-old blended grain, which comes in at £75, and it's an absolute stunner. I don't have the bottle here, but I do have its older brother, the 35-year-old, which is a little bit more expensive. It's £89, so I can't get away with saying this one. But what they're producing there is nothing short of astounding. I wish I knew which distillery it was, but obviously it's a blend, so it could be a couple of different ones. But I think from just shy of that 80 quid mark to get a really stunning 3-decade-old whiskey is gonna win people over as a gift for sure. You know, it won me over just getting it over here, but to have it as a gift, that's a number you don't often see on a whiskey. Yeah, all right, it's grain, but still, you know me, big fan of grain. But there you go, that's my choice.
You'll have some backers in that, and you'll also, if I know a couple of people, have a couple of people like, absolutely not, no grain.
Blend and grain? No way.
Yeah, I've got a friend that is militant, where it's just a running joke anytime grain comes up. But for like 30-year-old for 80 quid in this day and age as well is just, and especially for if you're gifting it and people look at, don't they look at age, and they go, right, how old is it? Perfect.
You can't beat it. You know, I mean, I like my young whiskey, but 3 decades in a cask does something chemical, whatever, that you just can't replicate by any other way. It's just a fantastic way of getting it. Get into grain, people.
Or don't, so that we can pick it up quite cheap. Maybe we don't want it. I'm going to go up next, and then we're going to have Jen last, if that's okay. So my pick is also kind of a precursor, which for something that I would say is probably my whiskey of the year this year, and I don't even own it. So that I'm putting this out into the universe that maybe someone in my immediate family might see this and think we'll give David a voucher even or something. And that is the Kuboken 15-year-old release. Last year, people were speaking about it. They were saying that... I've not muted everything. The 2022 was fantastic, and what it is it's 15 years old Kuboken. It's peated, but what it continues to be is old stock as well. Now they only shut down the distillery I think for like 6 weeks in the winter to do peated stock at Tomatin, which is what it is. The 2023 release I had at the Whiskey Fringe at the very tail end of that day, and if you go to a whiskey show, you'll know the kind of vibe that you're in. And I came away, and the next day I still thought about that dram. I went to the Glasgow Whiskey Show, I had it there. At the London Whiskey Show, I had it there. I was sat with Simon, the whiskey novice, who works for Tomatin on and off, and spoke to him about it last week, and he was singing its praises as well. Now, the only thing about it is getting it at £80. I had a look online. You can find it some places for 75. Master of Malt have it at like 80 something. If you have Prime, you get a discount in the checkout, and then you get a £5 voucher if you enter their Black Friday competition, and that brings it under £80. So it's a little loophole in the £80 range, but I feel like that bottle just deserves that. Hopefully that wasn't muted, because I muted you guys, so I hope everybody heard that. Otherwise, I'll need to go again and just say, get Kuboken 15, it's really good.
It's a good shout.
Any of the Kubokens are amazing. I like all of them.
It's just such a distinct and unique proposition from a great distillery as well. Really good. And lastly, but not least, Jen, you're up.
So I went a kind of more, maybe more boring, I'm not sure, but I went more safe, I would say. So I've gone with a bottle that I don't think I've met a whiskey drinker who doesn't like or doesn't love it. And even after all these years that it's been about, the people still consistently love it. And it's the Glen Scotia Victoriana, which I think is between 70 and 75 online at the minute. And yeah, every time it's mentioned, people are like, oh yeah, love that. Always have one in my collection at all times. Always have one open. And it's, consistently been people's favourite. So that was why I went with that, because if you're buying something for someone and you're maybe not sure what they like, but you've got that as a budget, that's a pretty safe bet that they're not just going to like, they're hopefully going to love.
Another really good choice. But one that's actually, it has seen its price come up, hasn't it? Again, I think
it has gone. I think it's settled back down a bit now. I think for a wee while I'd seen it like over 100 in some places, but it has gone back down to about 75 now.
Which is crazy in itself. We'll go to the chat, guys. Let us know what's your pick for this? We've got Darth Kermit. Jen wins.
Hey.
Peter,
I
Jen.
actually had Glen Scotia Victoriana down as one of my options. So very good choice, Jen. I'm glad I didn't go for it now. Very good choice.
Mm.
Look at that. Boom. Coming out strong. We knew you had the win in you. Come on, it was always going to
Oh,
happen.
it had to be after the books. I
well,
still stand by both those books, but
You've got to have books. You've got to have books.
You've got what else can you prop up if you're taking pictures for Instagram?
well, exactly.
If you need something for your laptop or your camera. I have a ton of whiskey books in here. They're on my wish list this year. I'm sure they'll come in handy one day to read. Yeah, I think there's a clear winner. Codgers came in, little brown dog for the win. James Morgan, Bourbon to Grain when the 30 years were cheaper than the US exports, and I think there was some love for Grain as well. There's some love for Cabokian, but Jen, that one's yours for sure. I think that was a clear winner in that case.
Thank you.
Now, when we're talking about that again in the £80 price range, it is funny we're seeing that creep again. And how do we bring it back? Like I saw in the Black Friday sale, Lagavulin 16 on Amazon is at $59.95 now, where it used to be, where it used to live, as opposed to the 85, which would have put it out of this category completely. So it is quite interesting to see. Is there any bottles that you've seen that have maybe just went out of that reach for stage? Not even like a special bottle, but just something that you're kind of looking at and you're thinking, it's a shame that that's happened. And then, not to dwell on the negative, but then what has then been the alternative? Vin, we'll start with you maybe.
I mean, anything with an 18 on it has basically gone from being completely affordable to completely unaffordable, you know, or not so good. Not all of it, but my absolute favourite of all of that would be the Talisker 18, which my review video that I did like 6 years ago says that it's the best value 18-year-old on the market, which it was. But now, if people go and look at that review now, thinking I'm reviewing the current pricing of bottles, that is not correct anymore. But yeah, it's always difficult because when I started doing this thing, I remember seeing all the old boys moaning about the price of whiskey. And I'll never be like that. And 8 years later, it's already happening to me. You know, so it's just the way of things. But like you said, I think it's going to come down the other way. You know, we're about to be absolutely flooded with Irish, absolutely flooded with English whiskey in the next 5-10 years. We've got so much choice; they're going to have to bring the prices down if they want us to stay in their brands. But I don't know. I hope to see the day, but we'll see.
Rachel, have you seen anything, or has there been anything that surprised you and came down?
I'm thinking for coming down. I'm not nothing's springing to mind. If it does while I talk, I'll bring it up. I saw Craig on the chat there with Abelard Abuna. That was a really good example of one that was a good price, and then it shot up astronomically. Even just to touch on Lagavulin 16 again. So when we in Calendar, there was a kind of off-licensing shop across the road that had Lagavulin 16 for £120. And we looked it up and we were like, we'd probably have to charge the same as that if we bought that in to make a decent margin on it. It was absolutely bonkers. And it seemed to happen over quite a short period as well, that it just went so astronomically up in price. Honestly, everything. My beloved Glenallachie has gone up a wee bit more in the last year than it was before. Sad times. I cannot honestly think of anything that's come back down, but that's maybe me being cynical and negative about it.
I'm going to jump in with one before Vin does maybe. Glasgow increased bottle size and kept price at a very, very competitive price point. And I think we're seeing the love for it now in a lot of dram face articles, reviews. Vin's bottle, which I have almost as if scripted. I have right here. That's going to be my next dram. Vin's limited edition bottle at Glasgow. And I think that's why a lot of favour has been curried by because I've done that. And kind of pushing against the grain a little bit. You do wonder, is it sustainable? Because there's a reason all these people are putting their prices up. Like you mentioned about margins in the shop. Like retailers aren't doing it for free either. They have to pass that on, and then they're left with dusty bottles on shelves, and it's kind of no sum game. Jen, what about you? Is there anything that maybe you've seen?
Well, one that consistently kind of stayed the same, which I was really pleased about because it's one of my absolute favourites and I mention it all the time. Even while, so it was the electric 18, when you're mentioning 18-year-olds, they were all going up. Even when the other ones owned by the same company, the Bunnahabhain 18 went up massively, and so did their other higher age statement ones. And the Deanston 18 went up. The electric 18 seemed to stay about the same. Which, yeah, I was very, very pleased about because it's one of my absolute favourite drams of all time. So I don't know why, I don't know how they were able to do that one or why. But yeah, that's one to go for if you want a really good value for money 18-year-old, if it's still the same as it was last time I looked.
That was one I looked at for the under 80, and I was trying to see if I could find. I think it was about maybe 78 to maybe 85. I think it's the price of that at the moment.
Yeah, it's round about 80, yeah.
Vin,
It's so good.
anything in that space that you can, outside of the increase that you've seen maybe come down? Still
No,
buying? I've just
definitely not coming down. I mean, the only, what I tend to do is like again look in the indie space, because you're going to get good bargains there. I mean, I picked up an Othrusk 14-year-old under the single cask for 45 quid. It was on a deal, so yeah, you can account that. But that was literally the minute I saw that, I was just an absolute no-brainer purchase. But yeah, the only way you're going to really see it is if you're looking onto those master and malt deals or Amazon to see what kind of, because those guys can absorb some of that margin sometimes. But yeah, actually from distilleries, no, I'm not seeing it go down per se. Hold price, yes, or go up ridiculously. Probably my favorite example, I guess, is Highland Park. Just being one of my favorite brands in the world, just being completely unobtainable to me. I picked up a 21-year-old Highland Park for £100 like 7 years ago, and I drank it like a moron. That'd be a huge investment now if I'd have kept that, because it was the old label as well. But still, I enjoyed it. But yeah,
there was a great on that Highland Park. There was a great Amazon Black Friday deal on the new bottle, and what they did was, I don't know who did it, someone must have went, we don't have a product shot, so they just took an iPhone out and took pictures of the bottle on the shelf and uploaded it as the official picture on Amazon.
Unbelievable.
And it lasted about 6 hours, and then it got yanked, and I was kind of like, right, okay, cost cutting at its finest, get those margins in. Well, on this note, guys, we have a special guest, not live, sadly pre-recorded, which will give us a minute to refill our glasses with another dram if we want it in a wee break. But I'm going to hand you over across the pond for a special message.
I'm Tim from Whiskey Whereabouts, and when people ask me about Scotch whiskey gift ideas, the first question I have in response is, what are you looking to spend? But oftentimes they're asking because they're looking for something that's a reasonable value, they're on a budget, and if that is the case, then there are two bottles that I will often recommend because they are both readily available in most decent shops here in the US for $60 or less. One peated, one unpeated. The peated option, the Wee Beastie from Ardbeg, 5-year age statement, 47.4%, and it has that sort of sherry influence. And the alternative unpeated bottle, the Classic Laddie from Bruichladdich, 50% ABV. It has mostly bourbon mature, but they have that wine cask influence. Both are very well presented whiskeys. 5-year age statement, no age statement, but your gift ideas. The first question I have in response is, what are you looking to spend? But oftentimes they're asking because they're looking for something that's a reasonable value, they're on a budget, and if that is the case, then there are two bottles that I will often recommend because they are both readily available in most decent shops here in the US for $60 or less. One peated, one unpeated. The peated option, the Wee Beastie from Ardbeg, 5-year age statement, 47.4%, and it has that sort of sherry influence. And the alternative unpeated bottle, the Classic Laddie from Bruichladdich, 50% ABV. It has mostly bourbon mature, but they have that wine cask influence. Both are very well presented whiskeys. 5-year age statement, no age statement, but you are getting really solid value at that price going in either direction. And so if you are gifting either of these bottles to somebody who has experience, knows that bottle, they are going to smile in recognition. And if you're giving it to someone who is unfamiliar, they are going to thank you later.
And that was from Whiskey Whereabouts. If you've not subscribed, go and find him. He kindly sent that across, and I thought it was a very good viewpoint for people who watch in the States. We do have quite a lot of people that watch Whiskytube from the States. What did you think of the picks? Wee Beastie and Classic Laddie. Just quality drams, aren't they?
The Wee Beastie was going to be one of my other options, I think, for the under 40. So yeah.
I find Classic Laddie for the money. If you can get it on a deal, it seems that's one of those bottles. It seems to, but like the Deanston 18 on Amazon as well. If you keep an eye out, you can get it at kind of crazy subscribe and save prices. Which, if anybody doesn't know, you can subscribe and then cancel after you get the bottle. So I've been told. When we were just speaking about prices coming down and stuff like that, and the kind of ethics of using maybe Amazon and whatever. I don't know if anybody saw the Thompson Brothers North Highland blend Amazon Black Friday special that's available. It's £28. Now, you would have seen the Tesco bottle that they brought out, the North Highland, and a lot of people loved, and it was about £35. You can get it for £28 on Amazon at the moment, but when it comes, it's not the same bottle. If you look at the back of it, it is, instead of a blend of 2, which I believe was Clynelish and Glenard, it's a blend of 3. And the batch number makes a very pointed statement to billionaires, as well as saying support your local shop on the back. So a really nice touch. I don't know if they'll be doing a bottle next year for them. Jeff Whiskey's just said still available somehow. So definitely have a wee look at it. If you're after a gift that people about whiskey don't know, and you're going to hand them a Tesco bottle, I think that's a good one to call out. Now we're going to move on to the third round, which is a pretty tough one, I think. Best gift for newbies. I'm going to guess that nobody's going to say a nice glass and whiskey stones gift set. I'm hoping, because that's what I'm going to put forward. But we are going to kick off first with Vin in this category.
Oof. I mean, so yeah, we weren't given a budget on this one, so let's assume that within reasonable costs. You could go with something like like a whiskey advent calendar or something like that. These are always well received by newbies. Lots of tasting packs and whatnot. But what I'm going to do is say a festival ticket, which is a bit out there, plus, going along with me, maybe that would be a good thing. So I tend to, when people are getting into whiskey, I tend to build a tasting pack for them, but that's a rubbish Christmas present. So I think taking someone to a festival, showing them around, sort of going through drams with people, introducing them to people, that's a perfect way to not only get into whiskey, but get into the community as well, because that's what most whiskey drinkers miss in the first portion of their whiskey drinking career, if you want to call it that, is they just start drinking whiskey and they miss out on that whole community that's there. So deep dive straight into that. That's what I reckon.
Very good selection. Very good choice. Whiskey ticket. And you can regional. There's been an explosion of whiskey festivals, I would say, in the last 2 years. So you'll have one close by, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3, I think, but just Birmingham has 3 every year. So we're all right down here.
Now, I'm up. I'm going to go next here, guys. So do indulge me here. Mine's is like Jen's first one. I'm going to say a book, but I'm going to say a book and a piece of art combination, which is inside the book, but you can also buy separately, which is Charles MacLean's Whiskypedia. Now, I picked this up just at the weekend for a friend's birthday, and I don't have it, and I looked through it, and I thought, this is cracking. This is really good. Who knew? Who knew Charles MacLean would be good at whiskey writing? And within that, he has his whiskey wheel, which is just such a fantastic resource for beginners as well as experts of just kind of trying to pinpoint your flavour and your expectations. I like to imagine that a newbie is maybe someone that's got a bottle at Christmas of something, and they've kind of maybe come on YouTube to find out about it, or they want to understand it, and they've probably said to themselves, right, I want to get into whiskey. Where do I start? And I think that book's such a great resource. There is another book that's just came out, Dave Broom's Whiskey Atlas, which looks fantastic, and I've added to my list. So you could do the two if you wanted to indulge them with more books. But I just thought that nice combo of the wheel and that. And then you could probably, if there's no budget, fling in Maclean's Nose as well, the blend, the bottle, and just kick it all off. Do a trilogy of Maclean for them. But that would be my choice.
Great choice. Love it.
You guys know the whiskey wheel I'm talking about, don't you? The beautiful one that I think is it his wife or somebody that did it, or I know it's someone in his household that painted it. Which is just such a lovely thing, and I've always wanted it, but the problem is, I don't know if my wife would let me put it up in the living room, and it's, you know, like in the bathroom, sitting there looking at it. So I don't know where I'd put it, but a newbie could figure that out. Right, Jen, you're up.
So I thought a newbie, or something that would be quite good for a newbie, would be to go and discover what they like and what they don't like, if they've, like you say, maybe just bought a bottle or two that they quite enjoy. So I thought of doing a blend your own or malt master experience. So you can go and kind of try a lineup of drams from whatever distillery you're at that are kind of one matured in bourbon, one matured in a certain type of sherry, and so on. And so they can kind of figure out what they like and maybe what they don't like as much, and put something together that they're going to enjoy, and then they'll kind of know why they enjoy it and why they've left certain things out. So I did actually take my group that I had last week that were kind of whiskey. They were very interested in whiskey, but they didn't know much about it, and they hadn't maybe tried all that many, and they loved doing the Malt Master experience at Glengoyne, and that was kind of perfect level for them. So that's why I chose that one.
Great choice. I did that tour. I did that tour maybe
Me too.
a lifetime ago. Let's put it that way. When I used to be a barman in Glasgow, and it's such a beautiful distillery as well.
It is.
It's such a great experience. No, fantastic. I think I would say that was probably one of my gateways into the world of whiskey outside of serving it, and just learning all that stuff. I had looked at have you seen the Chivas packs you can get on Amazon? Blend your own. They're on offer at the moment. It's £16 and it comes with a little beaker and 6 different miniatures. It's really. It was nearly one of the ones I was going to suggest, but I was like, I don't know. You're making your own Chivas. Other blends are available. Let's say that. But I think that kind of learning element is so engaging, isn't it? And I think it leads into that kind of community and experience that Rachel mentioned earlier on as well. And on that note, Rachel?
Great. I feel like making your own Shiraz sounds like a euphemism for something, but I don't know what. So for best newcomer, I think my choices might be a bit more basic than everyone else's. So I'd actually seen this while I was scrolling on some platform somewhere that you can get a scratch off whiskey map. So I am a geographically challenged person, and I think looking at a map more when I was first getting into whiskey might have helped me sometimes with flavour profile, but also just with my general geography skills of Scotland. So, and that's got a bit of a kind of Pokemon catch 'em all vibe, so you can scratch off the different distilleries as you tried them. So I was thinking you can get that along with 2 miniatures of very different whiskies. So the examples I've got of that is like a Glenallachie 12 and a Lafroig 10, and then 2 Glencairn glasses, so that this newbie person to whiskey can enjoy both of these whiskies at the same time, compare and contrast, smell the differences. And that one was really beneficial for me when I first started getting into whiskey, to really appreciate how different these 2 drinks were, despite being made of the same ingredients, but also gives them a kind of insight into what they might like and what they might not like. They might like neither of the drams, or they might like the Glenallachie more, or they might like the Lafroig more. So, and also along with that, 2 glasses, I mentioned that, didn't I? So that's my choice.
A very, 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 very good choice.
Oh, there we go.
I think I've had this for a bit. Probably 2020 Christmas, pandemic Christmas. I got
That
this.
doesn't say a lot for my gift choice there, to be fair.
No, but I just I don't know why I've never scratched them off. I think it's the Pokemon element where I know if I started,
You've got to get
I'm
them all.
then just gonna have to go and do every single one of them. But it's a really good choice because 2020 was when I started properly getting into this. Because what else were we going to do? And the glass is excellent. Guys in the chat, please let us know who do you think was the winner in that. Jen Sweater, Ted Brooks said that was the winner. So just gift that for the newbie. That's what people are after.
Well, that's an improvement from each one of the previous videos we put on. I can't remember who it was, but someone came on and commented and said that jumper has seen better days. I still have that jumper. I don't wear it on video anymore.
Was that like someone you
So
went to
thank
high school
you.
with? Was that like a
What was
high
that,
school
sorry?
was that like a high school's mean girls person or something? Like what?
No, it was
That was
probably
only, it was about a year ago. It was our going around Glasgow, and it was a very old jumper. It was a bit bobbly, but I can't bear to part with it. So thank you for the compliment on the new jumper.
Jen, did you get to taste the teapot dram batch 10? James Morgan
Oh,
asks.
is that's the latest one? I have a sample of that, and I'm saving it to compare with the previous batch for when me and Rachel are in the same room. So I got a sample of that when I was at Glengoyne the other day.
I didn't know that. I'm excited now.
Craig Doran says best gift for newbies would be 15 cans of Guinness. Then they would always have money in their pocket, which he used to have before he got any whiskey. There is a again Pokemon element to me. I blame Alan, the whiskey friend, for my bottle collection. When I first watched him in YouTube on during the pandemic, he was in his, like, I would say, a shed, but it was all these Kilkerrans, the in progress ones, and they were all colourful and really nice behind him. And I thought, oh, I'd quite like that myself. And so when I saw him at the Glasgow Whisky Festival, I blamed him for everything. Let's see, like why not put the blame on someone else for the habit. Tim, Jen's pick again. Bought that blending experience for someone a few years ago, and they really enjoyed it. Petehead, Jen wins for me again. Yes. Look at this. Scott Matherson, festival ticket. Vin's got a vote there. Tim, Rachel. There you go. Darth Kelmet, tough one. I liked Rachel's idea, but Vin wins. His festival ticket contains the most whiskey.
Bang for a buck. Bang for a buck.
Bang for a buck, yep. Drink responsibly, especially if there's YouTubers about. Get you on camera. Whiskey whereabouts. I'm with Vin this time. Whiskey and community, a great introduction. Craig Doran festival tickets. Oh, this is neck and neck. I think this is another one that's going to have to go to adjudication later on, and we'll have to look into after the next round, because COD just came in with Festival Eye. Oh, I might have just tipped it. Makes it exciting. Like, we're getting there. Like, it's head to head now, going into the final category, which someone else is going to win. That's the way it's going to work. And as we go into it, it is. Oh, I've muted you guys. It is best gift for geek, and I've purposely chosen that word due to your guys' catchphrase. Do you want to give us? Do you want to try and do this in sync via the power of the internet? Do you think you can pull it off?
Or like our intro.
Yeah.
Where do we start? I think we can only do it if we start from the beginning.
Yeah, go for it. I'll count you in.
Hello.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, I'm Jen.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to our channel. We are Whiskey Geeks.
Not whiskey snobs.
So if you like all things whiskey,
And you're not a snob, subscribe! Not quite.
It was a bit slower than usual.
It's hard to do it when you mix it around. We've accidentally mixed it around before and we're like, sorry, what's your line? It's...
Well, the geek element of it is what I picked here for it was going to be enthusiast, but that was too big a word to put in that little box. And geek fit perfectly. So this one is a category. This could be depending on what angle you've taken it, you could have looked at it and went, this is an infinite fund of money. What would be the ultimate gift for a whiskey geek? But I think that whiskey geeks, weirdly, are quite difficult but quite cheap to maybe buy for as well, in some elements, because, as I mentioned earlier, no one buys me whiskey, and it's a nightmare. I'm like, buy me anything. And then I won't name the bottling. My dad bought me an age statement bottle one year for Christmas, and I was like, thanks, Dad. He was so excited. It was a 12. I've got you a 12-year-old single malt, brilliant. And it raised money for charity. It was great. It really did well on the raffle.
I was going to say blink twice if it was Glenfiddich.
No. Brittany moment. I really do like Glenfiddich. I really do. It's fine if you add it with ginger beer. It tastes like Umbongo.
Oh, I'll need to try that.
Very tropical. That was a ran out of vodka, back of the shelf job, and I discovered that. So always good to know. But in this one, we're going to start. I'm going to kick this one off. It came all the way around. We're going to go here. I've went for a very kind of whiskey geek of myself approach. So what I've went for in this one is a trip for a whiskey geek. And I've got it all. I've had to write down the itinerary down here because it's quite to the point. Wherever you live, you can do this, depending on your funds. You have to get to either Inverness or Aberdeen and then come in by train, by car, by whatever. And I'm saying go to Craigellachie and stay at the Highlander Inn for 2 nights. Why 2 nights? Because the Highlander Inn does a deal where if you stay for 2 nights, your room cost gets you a bar tab. So if 2 of you stay for 2 nights, it's £230. You both get £50 a night. You get a £200 bar tab, which equates to you both staying per night for £7.50 in Craigellachie at the Highlander Inn. If you go solo, it's £170. You get £50 a night. So you're paying £35 a night and a £100 bar tab. You can try whatever you want at the bar with that bar tab. And you're within spitting, walking, running, biking distance to a whole host of amazing distilleries. Even if you want to badmouth them or whatever, because they're too mainstream or whatever, but you've got Macallan down the road. You've got the Cooperage up the road. You can walk by doors and have a wee kind of peek at that. You can go down to Dufftown. You've got Glenfiddich, you've got Balvenie and all that there. You can go further afield, and it's not that far of a field, to Glenallachie, Glenfarclas and all that. And that's what I would do. That would be the ultimate gift for me, is just someone say, here you go up to Craigellachie and enjoy yourself. I'm seeing
that
nods.
is such a good gift idea. I had thought of that very end, you know that, and I didn't ask myself to do the more kind of the research around it. That's such a good idea. Very good.
It's an unbelievable deal. I visited it in the summer, just passing through with my wife and my little girl, and I had lunch, and I forgot how cheap pub lunch actually should be, because I live in London, and tried some amazing drams, had some lunch, handed the car keys to my wife, and like the total bill came at like £40, and I was like, this is Witherspoon London prices, you know, like unbelievable. So that's my one. Now we're going to move on. Jen, you're up next.
Well, I feel like what's the point in any of the rest of us going now? Because I would pick that one for sure. Also, my choice for this one, I only had one choice for this one, and it's already been stolen by Ven, which was a festival ticket. So my thought, I'll do something else instead though. But my thought was that I was putting that one for a whiskey enthusiast or a whiskey geek, because it's not like they'll ever have had that before, because every festival you go to is going to be different, and then they can pick what they want. So I think your brief said they might be hard to please, so I thought then they can please themselves and choose whatever they want at the festival. So I'll not do that one instead because that's already been done. And I was kind of looking at the bottles I have behind me for ideas. And just recently, this was our Calendar Drinks Company bottling of a Glen Scotia, and I had seen it on an auction site recently. So I thought you could go trailing around the auction sites and try and find something that you know that they might like, or something that they've really never tried before, or something quite old that's going for a decent price. So rather than spending lots of money, you could spend lots of time doing lots of research and trying to get something really interesting and really different. So we'll go with that, something from an auction site.
It's a very good choice. Very sentimental as well. A lot of research, a lot of time put into it. I think I would be amazed if someone I knew gave me a bottle or something from they're outside the whiskey world and they found something and said, I looked this up, this is good. My mum, there's a bottle behind me of, I believe it's Amaret or Rampur Indian whiskey, and my mum got me it on top of the present she got me for my 40th because while I was away she felt, I need to get him something else, and she watched Ralphie. She went on YouTube, she watched Ralphie, and it just happened that the video was that bottle. And so she went, there's a bottle coming for you. And I was like, what's that? And it was exactly that kind of vibe where I was like, oh, thanks, Mum. Why have you got me that? She went, Ralphie says it's good. I'm like, who do you even know who Ralphie is? What is going on? Like,
that's also good because whiskey geeks are always keen to try something new and different. Like, you're never going to go too far wrong either. So if it's new and different, they might hate it, but they'll probably be pleased to have tried it.
Rachel, you're up next.
Great, very good thinking on your feet there, Jen, too. So this one I've actually gone for something that people already have gone for in the newcomer round, which is interesting again. So I went for two options, a more expensive and a cheaper option, and they are unfortunately geographically biased in that they are Campbelltown. So I went for Cadenhead's Creation Blending Session. It's £100. Sorry, I'm reading off my notepad to tell you exactly about it. So this one is 90 minutes long. You blend your own blended malt or blended scotch. You get 8 different Cadenhead whiskies to try, Cadenhead, Cadenhead, whichever you say. And then you get a 70cl bottle to take away after it. And best of all, you do all of that blind, which I absolutely love. So it means if you're a whiskey geek, then you get to go in and taste properly without any biases. If you're a bit of a snob, that's also quite fun as well, because you can surprise yourself. And if you don't have a budget of £100, which is fair enough, then they also do, instead of a blending experience, you can do a warehouse tasting at Cadenhead's for £40. It's around an hour long. You get 6 whiskies, and then you can choose your 7th whiskey in their tasting room. I've still never done it, can you believe? But everyone that I know who's been to Cadenhead's for either of these experiences have absolutely loved it and thought behind that. Try lots of whiskies. You'll find at least one or two that you like for the warehouse tasting anyway.
Very good pick. Proper geekery as well. Is it Cadenheads or is it Cadenheads?
To be honest, whenever I've been to a tasting with them, they've said Cadenheads, and I fall into Cadenheads, so I think it is Cadenheads. I don't know what you guys think.
I would say Cadenheads, but then what do I know about pronunciations?
I would say Cadenheads, but I think it is Cadenheads.
Yeah.
Are we being snobbish because they're from Campbelltown? And we're just like, shush. Because I used to go to uni with people from Campbelltown, and we all know that Scottish people were very parochial. We like to maybe just go, aye, we know better. Because I find myself saying Cadenheads a lot, but then I'm in England, so I don't know if it is same as been the pronunciation thing, just southernised it. If the chat wants to let us know, do they say Cadenheads or do they say Cadenheads? I've been on tastings in London at Cadenheads and they say Cadenheads, so I don't know if we're just...
Yeah, we should probably move to Cadenheads.
We probably should, but we're just like, nah, it's not for us. Last one, Vin, here we go.
Okay, I'm cheating a little bit here because there's no way I'm going to beat any trips or anything like that. But I was lucky enough to be sent a set from my good friend Chris at the Dram team. He wants me to do a bit of promo on this set, so unfortunately I have to send this back. But check this bad boy out. I have to reach down here because it's so massive and so heavy. This is the tasting set and all tasting sets. This is his Scotch whiskey map. Look at this. There's 15 drams in there, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But there's a great book in there and a map that you can hang up on your wall. It's A2 and 2 tasting glasses. but they're doing so. Just to give you an idea about what's in here, we've got like an 18-year-old Tomatin, an 17-year-old Ardbeg, a 30-year-old Grain. There's some Firkin stuff in there, 17-year-old Craigellachie. Yeah, but it's just even just the book is like really high quality, and it's all about all the distilleries that are in here. So it's good for beginners, but I think good for geeks because we like to be wowed, right? And the truth is, I'm never going to buy this. It's 300 quid, so it's not a cheap thing at all. But imagine if you got this, you would just be like, my God, that's impressive. I won't get this out to show you, but this is a whole map of Scotland and all the distilleries. Oh, you can't see on the camera. The map there is on it's got all the distilleries on it as well. So yeah, like I said, cheating a little bit because I just happened to have that literally got delivered like yesterday or something. So yeah, a very impressive set nonetheless.
I was sat here with my mouth opened, like, well done on the forearm strength to just be like, yeah, I'm just single holding it. But
I'm not lying; it's heavy, man. I mean, like it must be a good 7.5 kilos or something like that. It's a bit of a whopper, but it's yeah. At the minute I opened that, because it comes in this little, I'll show you, get a bit more extra to it. It comes in this whole box thing here, and it's got this sleeve to it. But when the box turned up, I was like, I had no idea it was going to be that massive when I agreed to do this. But yeah, with the drams involved, I think genuinely, I think it's worth the 300. But that's it's too much money for me. But yeah, got to send it back, to be honest.
well, look, there might be someone watching that goes, I'll get him that for his Christmas.
Well, maybe, yeah. Tell Chris, and you can pay him, and he can leave it here instead of me shipping it back.
You get that. I get maybe somebody pays for a luxury trip to Craigellachie. There's like Rachel gets the whole kind of experience, and she gets taken away. Maybe she goes to Kentucky. Maybe someone says, right, you want to experience, we're going to show you American whiskey. And then Jen can get some books.
I want to change it to a trip to the Bourbon Trail now.
In the chat, the Cadenheads has been definitively decided by Codger. He says, I say Cadenheads. Cadenhead. So everyone's a winner in that one. I'm going to attempt to pronounce this user's name, Kojigwai. Is that correct? They say Cadenheadway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is the way they say it. Codger just booking the Highlander, and then notice there's a £5 room cleaning charge. They'll no be seeing me. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's good drinking money. Tim Pills, I'd said in the chat, it's very quiet. The chat went very quiet when we were all talking on that round, and I was like, I think this is all your category, isn't it? The geeks. And so we're all booking the Highlander. I had considered this one, which Tim's suggested, get some mates together, Springback Eat Sleep Dram experience. Are you guys aware of this one?
Don't think so.
So it's 3 days, 2 nights in the hosting. Springbank host you. Mitchell host you. They put you up in an Airbnb, and you have like a kind of housekeeper who makes your breakfast, and there's an honesty bar, and then you spend a few days kind of not working so much at the distillery, but you go around everything in depth and you try stuff and whatever. This was my plan. I was planning on doing this for my 40th this year, and it used to be, I think, yeah, it was it was still a fair outlay of money, but then the price went up, and I think it became like £900, 950 quid. And my birthday's March, and they only did up to February. And so then I kind of weighed it up, and I thought, February in Campbelltown for 950 quid with no spending money or anything like that. And so I booked a trip, and I went to Kentucky instead for the same money. Different experience, still whiskey related, but it's still a kind of like itch that I want to scratch. So if anybody at Mitchell's loves the design of this t-shirt and wants to like take it over, I'll give you that if you give me a free Eat Sleep Dram repeat experience.
I reckon we can make it happen. Just kick their door down and say, "Don't you know who I am?"
I'm the guy.
I'm drinks whiskey.
Ripping off your copyright. I'm ripping off your copyright. But it's fine because it's not Springbank, it's Springbank. So it's fine. It's a completely different entity.
I
And it's
think
just
that's a
coincidence.
bargain for them if they take you up on that, to be honest.
They're not doing the t-shirts. You know, these
That's
t-shirts have went. These t-shirts are worldwide. But no, Tim, it does look like a fantastic experience. I know that there's been a few of the Instagram kind of whiskey crowd who've went and done it recently. Very jealous, even just to be in the bar. Is it the what's the name of the bar at Springbank? There's a famous the Out something bar, the Outturn bar or something like that, and they have everything really cheap. Let's see.
The one at the distillery.
Yeah, what's the name of it? The one that when the Oswards do it and stuff, and they broadcast from there, and I can't think of the name of it. I could.
I was
Google
going to call it the mash tun, but that might not be right.
I think
the mash
that's in,
tun's Aberlour.
Is that somewhere else? That's
not
wrong end of the world.
The
Is that
washback
not-
bar.
The washback bar. That's it.
Quick Google.
The
Different
washback
piece
bar.
of equipment.
It just looks fantastic. Right, I'm going through this. So, Darth Kermit says tough. This one. Craig says, well done. You 1-1 drinks whiskey. Tim, David's got it. Sorry guys, I did. It's a really. It's a good one, isn't it? Sorry. But Darth Kermit does like that box from Santa, though, Vin. And Kujo says that's an amazing experience. Quite the price tag though, £300. But if you're a geek, it's an infinite price amount. Whiskey Whereabouts, be happy to receive any of these ideas, but travelling to Craigellachie with a strategy to game the hotel bar tab is too good a proposition to go any other way. Who says it's a stereotype? Us Scots being frugal and well to do with money. It's so I'm going to have to award that one to myself. Apologies, guys, but I will say I'm going to say, like, based on the first one, based on the way this has went, I think everybody's won the round. Everybody's had a round, so we're all winners. Look at that! Like, well done. Chat, you're welcome to fight it out if you want, for your favourite on that. So maybe of the 4 categories, what would you think is the most realistic one that you could gift to someone, be yourself or whatever, and then we can pick an overall winner. Will we talk about what drams are in your glass now? Are you still on the same drams from the start?
No, well, I was actually in the spirit of treating yourself at Christmas. It's not even really much of a treat. I was shopping at the weekend and I went to Good Spirits. I've not had tomato 18 in so long, and I used to really like it. It tastes like Biscoff, so I bought myself a wee mini of it. And I actually don't like it I don't like it as much as that Glenallachie. I think I've done it in the wrong order. It tastes too watery compared to my Glenallachie, but still nice.
I've gone with another tomatin, but it's a Kubokin, the Creation number 6. It's PX and Jamaican rum casks. It's so soft, but still so flavourful.
How's the rum in it? How's that rum doing in it?
I don't know. It's not. I'm not sure it's even coming through that. Well, maybe like that kind of brown sugary note. It's hard to tell what's from the sherry and what's from the rum in that one. It's for both of them. It's not that like really rich sherry way. It's much softer altogether and more kind of floral, but still really, really full flavoured and quite like creamy and syrupy.
But it works together well. Then
yeah, like really well integrated. Yeah, it's lovely. I think I've done the wrong order as well, though.
I am jealous of that. Like, I do need to buy some. Like, I'm telling myself again, it's like on the list, but maybe people watching this, Kubokin, call it whatever you want, just buy me it for Christmas. Then
after I mentioned that Arthrusk bottle, I went and picked that up to have a little dram of that because it's just wonderful. I actually got it wrong. I said 14. It's a 13-year-old, heaven forbid. But at 56.4%, it's a bit of a monster. But look at wrong bad side. There you go. The colour of that is just just nominal. It's perfect really for what you want. Stunning whiskey.
always struggle to pronounce that distillery.
Basically, what you got to do is just visualize the word and then throw it in the bin, and then say what someone told you to say. That's what you got to do.
Is that a non-Scots way of pronouncing a lot of Scottish words?
Oh, I mean, so
you're coming at it.
I struggle with it constantly, and if you go back through my 8 years of videos, you'll see all kinds of nonsense. Literally, I mean, that's the biggest joke of my channel, by the way, that I call it no nonsense. But yeah, the pronunciations, it's still now. I mean, I said Moscatel the other day, not Moscatel or whatever, and straight away blah, 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 comments, "You have got it wrong, sir." And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, don't care. But it's pronunciation is important, but it's so difficult for me because I'm such a phonetic speaker that it's, Scotch Gaelic is not phonetic.
But it's not even seeming to be that. Springbank's latest sherry release, the Armadillo. I can't say that. I've tried. I know I could if I wrote it down phonetically, but I cannot pronounce that type of sherry.
Armadillo, like Amontillado. Is that what you mean?
There you go. Yeah, look at you just flexing the linguistic.
Oh,
Wait a minute though. What was your one, Rachel?
Manzilla.
Manzilla.
Manzanilla. Manzilla. That's what I always think when I see that. Manzilla. Like Godzilla.
I mean, they're both Spanish words, right? So it's that's not even a Scotch problem.
Oh no, not at all. I have a talent for, you've said this, Jen, pronouncing words in a way you'd never predict a word to be pronounced. So
when we do our tastings, I'll like read through everything that Rachel's got to, and then like if there's weird words in there that she might not know how to pronounce, I will message her or voice note her how to pronounce them, and she'll be like, "Yep, great, okay," and she goes on and she pronounces them all correctly, but she'll find a word that I didn't think was possible to pronounce in another way, but Rachel will find wonderful new ways to pronounce perfectly normal words.
And it worries me because obviously Jen's there to correct me on these occasions, but just what I've said to people that I don't know or I don't see again, just in the world,
As long as you do it with conviction. Conviction is all you need.
Yeah, definitely.
And you make them think, is it that way? Should I be pronouncing it like that?
Yeah.
There's a good one here that Glasgow did, and they did. Here's the thing. So it's a Tokaji cask, right? Tokaji, right? It's literally spelled Tokaji, but you have to say Tokai. But I said that on a video, and I still got that wrong because it's Tokai or something like that. I've got to the point where basically I don't care how it's pronounced anymore. Tokai, I'll stick with that, and if it's got some weird inflection on it, I just can't. My tongue can't handle that. But my God, it's got a J in it, guys. It's
that's the one I was going to say. I can't pronounce it.
So
I don't even buy it. Is that bad? If I see that finish, I'm like, well, I don't like it. And
it's lovely. It's lovely.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it, to be honest. It's fine. No, I'll get this weird the finish on it. So I drink it. It's nice. And the finish, I'm like, no, there's something weird about it on the back end, but that's just the wine.
Weird. Like a fruity weird, a musty weird.
You know what? Let's pour it. I'll
I suppose it can be a little bit overly sweet sometimes, like Sauterne cask.
Yeah, it's a
little bit like almost like artificially sweet aftertaste.
Mm.
So I think it is quite similar to.
Yeah,
it's similar to Sauterne Tokai, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh no, the back end is just. I don't know. Yeah, it's like mold. That's what I'm tasting. It tastes like a little bit like mold.
Ooh.
So.
Like a musty then.
Yeah. A little bit like that Sauternes thing, like just what you're saying, because that's exactly what that is, right? That's that noble rock vibe coming in. But I think it's one of those ones where people either really love it, or for me, they just, I don't know, man. That's someone's put in the chat the teriyaki cask. Bang on.
I'd like to try that though. That sounds good.
Yeah, I think I would.
They're savoury.
Scott Matheson says, I still read that as Tojaki. Yep, fine.
Tojaki,
and
yeah.
he says the finish is like pure peanut.
Ooh.
I don't really like peanuts, so there you go. Maybe that's it.
Is that the Is that the peated Tokai Glasgow
No.
you've got there? No.
It's the unpeated one. The peated one might suit me. I haven't got that one. Yeah,
That's
it's just
we've just got that, haven't we, for our tasting next week?
Tasting next week. So we've got that next week.
I've not tried it yet. I'm excited to try it.
Same.
Jen, you saying Tokai still flung my brain into a flux. I was like, no, it's Tokachi. And I'm just like, oh. Now, the one I've filled my glass with something that's very Christmassy, in my opinion, is like core. But I'm also on a bit of a vibe with this distillery at the moment. You know, like sometimes you just get in a groove with it and you're like, right, I want everything of that. And it was nearly some of my picks today, and I was like, no, because I've not tried those ones, so I'm not going to put something forward. And it's well, you can see the colour. I was talking about don't talk about colour, but it's like cola. It's Ben Rinnes, and it's an Adelphi Ben Rinnes. It's 14 years old. I'm trying to see if I can see which sherry cask it's been in, because it's obviously been in a sherry cask. But it's just brilliant, just brilliant. That's just something that we can all pronounce. Hopefully, Ben Rinnes.
I mean, that's not an easy word, even still, though, is it? It's like,
yeah,
it's getting there, but it's not like super easy. Ben
We
Rinnes.
do variations on that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could come up with a lot. I don't even know how that was pronounced. Oh my god.
Ben Rinnes.
See, I would ignore the E traditionally, so it would be a Ben Rins for me, like as a taught English. So
is it Ben? I'm saying Ben Rinnes.
It's Ben Rinnes. Yeah, it's Ben Rinnes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's why the book, going back to the books are a great idea. The Malt Whisky Yearbook has pronunciation guide, which literally saves my life week in, week out.
I only never mentioned that because I assumed someone else would, and I don't know if we all assumed someone would say the Malt Whisky Yearbook. That's a no-brainer. That's on my list every year. I get that on my Christmas list. I get that from my in-laws.
I'm only missing one. I'm missing the original 2006, and I can't get the damn thing for love nor money because it's well, technically yes, I could get it for money, but it's like £100 minimum on auction sites sometimes now. So I think I'll just have to live without having that one. But I've got every other single one since, which is I'm very happy with that. And I'm in it now as well, of course. So
well, there you go.
Are you in the market?
Yeah, I got an article this year. They did an interview for me, but I've been in the websites to watch for 2-3 years now, which is very, very exciting for me. Yeah, it's cool, but yeah, I don't know how long that will last for.
Can you not use some of that clout and say, like, can you just send me the file and I'll print it myself?
I tried. Ingvar said he's got like probably a handful left, but that must be to give to the Queen or something, the King or something. You know, it's you know, I'm not high up in the list enough to get one of those yet. But one day I will just buy it off an auction site or something because it is annoying that I don't have the full collection. But you know, it's a snapshot in time, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, guys, before we finish up, is there anything that you want to share or do? So maybe we'll start with the Grail guys. Is there anything you'd like to say about the channel, about your tastings?
Oh, we should have prepared something, Jen.
We should.
Our
videos are back.
We've got a tasting next week. If you're in the UK and want to join, we are still looking at international shipping. It's a pain in the bum, but we are so look for more updates. We are trying, but also yes, we're back with our videos and glad to be back. And thank you very much for having us. This has been great fun.
Thank you. Yes.
No, it's been great to have you back. It's a welcome face to see again on the subscription feed on YouTube. It gets a bit hectic this time of year, and so it's just nice to have something else. Finn, what about yourself?
Yeah, nothing really major. I guess you know, if you're interested in whiskey community, then have a look at my Discord server, which I'm loving at the moment. If for nothing else other than that, I'm really trying hard to do a couple more independent bottlings. Not sure I can match the strength of the Glasgow one I did, but I'm going to keep trying. But the Discord will always be the first to find out about it. So yeah, keep an eye out on my feeds for that because I should have something before Christmas, but it was also meant to be out this week, so it hasn't happened. So we'll see how we get on. You know how whiskey is; it's slow. It's a slow industry.
Brilliant. Well, you can find these guys in the comment, in the box below this video, you can find their channel. Subscribe if you've not already. I'm sure you already have. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, all the chat. Everybody that's enjoyed it. Jeff Whiskey's enjoyed listening to it. Tim's off to bed. Forget it's a Tuesday as well. Everybody that's joined on a Tuesday night, and it's Champions League football night. So there's football on, we're competing with that, but
Well,
I don't
it's
know
all
nothing
been
about
worthwhile. It's all been worthwhile.
David, you didn't
just
shout
like-
out yourself, man. You didn't shout out yourself.
I'm
on,
already.
do it.
I'm here. Drinks whiskey in the Black Lodge. I've got a new video coming out, hopefully by the end of the week, where I got invited to my first ever PR event, which was quite exciting. And it was great. I'm not going to spoil it, but if you're on Instagram, you would have seen me at Drinks Whiskey where I went. And it's again a wee behind the scenes of that, as well as another tasting where the bottle prices kind of made this receding hairline a little bit further back, because I was promised, oh, you can buy a bottle at this tasting, and then I saw the price and I was like, oh, cool. But it's always nice to be the poorest person in the room. You know,
I hear
world
that.
of whiskey. But yeah, at Drinks Whiskey, across everything. You can find me here. I do live streams when I can. I do have a young child, so it's live on a Saturday night when I'm available. But yeah, in the run up to Christmas, I'll be posting away, same as everybody else. And if anybody ever needs to reach me, just DM me on Instagram. But guys, thank you so much again for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure to host these, to discuss all things whiskey and geekery, and hopefully we all get really nice Christmas presents off the back of this. Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.